it's a flat where it's just 2-bedroom flat. I'm also being practical here, right? That things that Christian couples do for the first time, you don't want any interference. You don't want to start thinking there's somebody next door. You just want to have that freedom.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas if it's a 5-bed house, at least there's boundaries and space. But yeah, so that's, I think for me, that's the main consideration. I want you to enjoy that thing.
Enjoy it well.
If you're not sure, don't go for it. Personally. Yeah.
If I was 25, this happened when I was 25, but I think I'll reiterate it. I read from a book, a bit controversial book, but and it says commitment. Sorry, what did it say? Commitment is the price of. Sorry, I have to think about it. You remember I Kissed Dating Goodbye?
Yeah, I know the guy, but I've never read the book.
Oh gosh, I can't remember how it went. But basically, what it said was, let commitment be the price of, I guess, your invest or time or dating or something like that. So in other words, and that was the principle I lived by when I was 25. To say that when don't kind of just date willy. You know, let there be sort of a price that you place on it. That was a principle. I don't follow that principle now, but I think that principle guided me when I was 25, and I would still advise people.
Why don't you live by it now?
It's just in life. Life is not straight. There's lots of zigzag in life.
So I think, because I'm more mature now, so I feel like, I think when I was 25 and younger, I think I would have probably just fallen in love easily or given my heart more easily, and I knew a lot less then. So now I'm more confident in myself. I'm more confident. I've done a lot of work on myself. I know how to suss a guy out. So I can go on a date where it's just a date, to literally gather data as opposed to...
gather data?
What? On a person.
Oh, as in to get to know them? Basically.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's right. I just didn't... It threw me off that time.
Sorry, there's a saying that dating means gathering data.
Wow.
Which means you're going to assess. You're not necessarily... Dating doesn't mean you're going to marry them.
Right. You're more relaxed.
I'm more mature now. I'm more confident in myself now.
Got you.
So I can go on a date and it's just a date.
Yeah, it's not a huge thing.
It's not a huge thing, yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
I understand that. Cool. I would say look past the looks and get to know them properly.
That's a good one.
Is this your personal advice or for some other people?
Personal advice and for others.
Okay. I guess the reason I'm asking is because the people tend to say men are very visual.
So should I qualify it?
Yeah, qualify that.
So I think attraction is important, 150%. I don't think you should say, oh, attraction will come later. Like, it's not necessarily that the person, like for example, who you're attracted to might not necessarily be universally an amazingly beautiful man or beautiful woman or whatever. But I think attraction is key. If you're attracted to the person initially, I think that should be the... What I'm trying to say is that don't pursue someone that you're not attracted to.
Okay.
Number one. And when, even if you are attracted to them, it can't just be attractiveness. It has to be, you know, what their character's like. Yeah. You know, their person that has genuine substance and you know, they love God and all these things. I think, but I'm saying that because it's easy to dwell on this person's... I'm very attracted to them and they're amazing. Yeah, I mean, like, I love the way they look and all of that. And I think it's easy to get caught up in that because of, you know, we're human beings. Do you know what I mean? So, but where I would advocate that, you know, look past that. And that comes with time.
Yeah.
But do men do that though?
Yeah.
Good men do that, yeah.
No, even good men.
Even good men.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to look beyond, because after a while you get bored of the, not get bored of the physical, but other things can start to cloud the physical, especially other character traits may start to cloud the physical, and therefore you need a stronger substance to keep you going beyond just
looks.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that initially, so would someone's character be the first thing that attracts you to them as opposed to their looks?
Do you know what? That's the $1 million question. For me, the looks comes first, and then everything else.
However, there are times where you're not initially attracted.
Oh, okay.
Does that happen for men though?
It's happened to me. You're not initially attracted, and you guys get to know each other, and you know what I mean, and then you start to build attractiveness
from the character, or
from the character by maybe you see maybe something about how the way they carry themselves, or how they think, or maybe they start to look a bit different to you. Your eyes now, you know, start to become open. It's like, wow, I've never seen you. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think that can happen.
Okay.
That's a good one actually. Oh, that'll be Sean, of course. This is not gossiping, right? This is real
public.
Okay. So mine would be Sean because I feel that Sean, in some respects, is quite set in her ways. Some people might call it maturity. And so just to see how she reacts in a romantic sense,
yes,
would be something that would be nice to be able to see. Because it's Sean is she knows what she wants. I don't want to say she's robotic, but she's very grounded.
Rigid?
Yeah, you can't call it rigid. And so it'd be nice to see what Sean is like in a romantic sense when there's so much butterflies.
If she's rude.
Yeah.
You
know, and then she can't control herself anymore. That would be a good one to say.
Yeah. I don't really have anyone in mind. People don't want to see on the date. I don't have anyone in mind.
Brother Ayo?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Next question.
Why did you pause that?
No,
You're not gossiping.
No.
Tell us.
Oh, no.
Okay. Don't you want to find out more?
Is there more? Is there?
No. There is more, but she
I don't know
doesn't
if she wants
say.
to tell you something off camera.
Next
The way
question.
she's looking. Okay.
Next question.
Like a man cop.
Ooh, that's a great question.
That's a good question. Now, if I live in Africa, where you've got large space,
I was thinking that.
But if it's a flat,
it's tricky.
It's tricky.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah. Presumably this question is when you're married, right? Yeah, it's tricky.
Depends on what they're doing. If they can be helping.
But still,
yeah, your marriage.
Yeah, no.
You still get this well, yeah.
And also, you wanna,
Sorry, I'm just...
you know, like in your home, your marriage is like it's a place where you build and you grow and you know, it's you and your wife that is. Do you know what I mean? You share the you share your journey. It's like someone coming to live with you for years, especially your in-law or your mum or whatever, or your dad or whatever. It's like in a way because they are an authoritative figure in your life to a certain extent. Sometimes you might not want like comments or you should do it like this or X, Y, and Z. I'm married. Like this is where building to like. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
I mean, I suppose if we're being practical as well, that let's say things like having to get childcare, then there are practical considerations there. But if you've just got married,
it definitely can't be newly. If I'm newly married, no way. Yes, no way. Maybe 20 years down the line.
Yeah, things have changed.
10 years, 5 years.
Oh yeah, not as a newlywed. What about you, Serena?
Well, I agree. I think initially my first response would be not, but I'll say it depends on the person. So if it's someone, it just depends on the person. If it's someone that we have a really good relationship, and it will be a win-win situation, then yes. But if not, so when I say, I know that sounds really bad, but you know, win-wins, like you said, the childcare and stuff, and obviously it's a win-win both ways.
So basically,
it's a transactional relationship.
If they're not offering anything, my friend, back your load.
No, let's be honest. Some people get the in-laws there to come and help with the baby and stuff.
But that's what I'm asking you. If they couldn't offer that, you're not inclined to get them in.
No, if there's someone that I like being around, you know. But if it's yeah, because you just never know who the in-law will be. You know, if it's a really, you know,
tricky in-law.
Yeah.
You're inclined to.
Well, I think my first response will be, I agree with both of you. You want that space, and I do like my space. And obviously, if I have spare bedrooms, I'm someone that can respect boundaries. But I agree. I think in the first couple of years.
But honestly, it also depends on the kind of house as well, though, because if it's a flat where it's just 2-bedroom flat, I'm also being practical here, right? That things that Christian couples do for the first time, you don't want any interference. You don't want to start thinking there's somebody next door. You just want to have that freedom.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas if it's a 5-bed house, at least there's boundaries and space. But yeah, so that's, I think for me, that's the main consideration. I want you to enjoy that thing.
Enjoy it well.
So, growing up as a child, I didn't have to clean.
You did what?
I didn't have to clean because we had people that were helping us.
High five. Yes.
I can't
So you understand.
I can't have 5 on that one. Me, I had.
And so on a practical level, as much as I'm caring, I would want to delegate, not necessarily to my wife, but for somebody else to do that. Just because it's something that, as much as I'm caring, but if I can get somebody else to do that.
You know, that explains me.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah, if I can get somebody else to do it, then I would rather get somebody else to do it. Yeah.
But you know what they say about the rich? Like, they say that the rich, the reason why they're richer is that they value their time more. So there was a guy that was saying about his wife cooks and cleans, but he didn't want his wife to cook and clean anymore because actually her time was more valuable. If the time she would have been doing something more valuable, would have been earning them money, not necessarily money,
or being more
productive. And then he preferred that he kind of outsourced that. But that was, it was a very different way of looking at it.
Obviously, not everyone has that privilege. Obviously, you know that, but
yeah.
That's I hear that.
Yeah.
And then I think another one is in terms of modesty, or what we consider modest. Because growing up as a child, my family was very conservative in terms of we never went to drink. Everything was very much at home kind of thing, and so I've had to think about this, that if my wife was to wear something that I feel is not covered up enough, exactly, how are we gonna have that conversation? You know, so that's another practical one.
Would that potentially be something that's addressed before you get into relationships, less marriage?
It would, but with some of these things, you sometimes don't realize the extent to which it comes up until you could get into it. Because something I've noticed about, because I grew up in Nigeria, so people that have grown up in the UK, they're a lot more liberal when it comes to what people wear. Whereas for the kind of household that I've grown up in, and also being a church kid, everything has to be a certain way. And so I think that's something I've realized that I need to be comfortable with over time. So yeah, so much.
Be honest.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
It's not my preference. And it's
why
really,
yes?
It's not my preference. It's not my preference. It's really not my preference. But why not? I mean, it depends on how much of a, especially as a guy as well. Typically, the child will stay with the woman. So I have to bear that in mind, that, you know. But if I meet someone and it's the right person, then I'm not gonna be like absolutely not, so to speak. I would like to think. I'd like to think that that's how I would respond. That situation hasn't come up, so do you know what I mean? But yeah.
My initial answer to that was, if it was one child, my initial answer was yes. But from experience, so I think it depends on. I think the age matters, number one, and it depends on
age of the child.
Yeah, it depends on, are you mature or do you have the capacity to make me feel loved? If you have a child and you don't have the capacity, as in, you know, your child comes first, or even though your child comes first, but well, not in marriage, children don't come first. But in marriage, I think the partner, each partner comes first. But if you're someone that, and I've seen situations where the child literally comes first, the child takes up a lot of the time, and the child gets in the way of the man being able to love his wife, then that's a problem. But if a man is mature enough and he has enough capacity to be a father, but also, you know, make me, you know, feel loved and cherished, put me first, then yes.
That's good.
But I find that that's not been the case all the time.
I'm open to it. I wouldn't necessarily even place a limit on the number of children the person has. And one of the practical things I think is, because I'm 38 now, right? By the time I start having kids, at least 40, give or take. That's like, I'm getting older than 20 something. So if she comes with children, then it just makes life easier.
Would you treat your children the same as you treat them?
Yeah, I think I would, yeah.
You'll be biased?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I like children, but at the same time I like a disciplined household. So if, let's say for example, she's willing to allow me to discipline the child, then of course by all means I'll treat them the same. So yeah,
that's good.
So yes, I can marry anyone without